Good afternoon, friends. The warmth and wind of this sunny afternoon feel a bit like a sign of movement and change, and even promise of new things to come. We stand on the cusp of Holy Week, which brings winds and movement and promise of its own. Once again, we will seek to enter into Jesus' story of journeying in love into and through the depths of despair, walking the way that leads to bearing the world's sorrows and wrongs in his very being, and rising in the deep joy of victory over death.
We come into this Holy Week carrying the many losses we have known through this hard year of pandemic, losses known both personally and globally. We come longing for release from it all, for new life and freedom and joy.
We come into this Holy Week aware of so much pain in our world and in our community. We long for the companionship of Jesus, who walked the way of sorrow before us, and for the companionship of each other, whom we have not been able to be with in the ways most satisfying to us.
As Jesus walked the streets of Jerusalem, as he walked toward the hill of crucifixion, as his disciples and the crowds walked from place to place to place in their parts of the story, so we have an opportunity to walk this week on a path where sorrow and love, longing and hope can flow out to God in wordless prayer.
For any who are able, consider coming to walk among the luminaries in the church cemetery this Saturday evening, weather permitting, or one evening late next week, again, according to the weather. About 550 luminaries will mark the way. And as we walk, may we do so with the awareness that God's deep compassion embraces us and our weary world, that the love made known in Jesus walks with us through whatever sorrow we have known and will lead us into hope for healing of and transformation of what has been so hard.
You may think of this as a prayer walk, a walk of solidarity with all who have suffered and this trying year. The walks will be held from 7 to 9 p.m., and there will be folks at the driveway entrances to instruct you where to go. It is looking promising that the first one can be tomorrow evening, but check the website and Facebook for confirmation.
At the end of the path, and open all week long for your use at any time, will be an interactive prayer space on the porch of the schoolhouse on the church grounds. Come there to sense some of the scope of this worldwide trauma whose impact we all have felt. Come to express before God and in community some of your own grief or hope from this year.
Even as we have known the heaviness and the weariness and the injustices revealed in this year, we also have felt God's presence and grace. And it is stirring in new ways, even now, as in-person visiting and being together begins to be more possible and the promise of more to come.
As we stand on the cusp of this Holy Week, receive this blessing adapted from the writing of Jan Richardson. Blessed are you by the one who comes to us by the way of love poured out with abandon.
Blessed are you by the one who walks toward us by the way of grace. that holds us fast.
Blessed are you by the one who calls us to follow in the way of blessing, in the path of joy. May God grant you deep peace this day, dear friends.